Hi, this is Stacia, and we are going to do some flashcards today. So I think we'll do the first four. This is set 8 that we're in now, and we're going to do flashcard 1. So it's called the Two Knights Opening New Move. And well, this is good even if you don't play this opening. The question is, what opening is this? And what should we play here? Second part of the question is, what is a common mistake white could make? Okay, so let's start out. It's funny because when I made this flashcard, I remember that I didn't know what to do. I mean, it looks like the pawn on e4 is hanging. But sometimes in these positions, which this looks like an Italian two knights position. Yeah, actually I know it is. The normal moves are knight g5, d3, d4, and knight c3. I think those are all the normal moves before castling. So instead, white elected to play castles. So that's the position we're looking at. And I actually have seen this lots of times since. And I know that we can take that pawn. Okay, so knight takes e4. And I mean, if nothing else, you always have to remember that when you take this pawn, you make it so that d5 can be played. And if d5 is going to come with tempo, then that means knight takes e4 is probably correct. Now, I know what you're thinking. Stacia, aren't you worried about your knight being loose or the open e-file? Well, it's not as much of a concern here. I mean, this pawn is going to stay right here. It is defended. And well, we're just supposed to take. Okay, so back to the questions. So what opening is this? What should we play here? I answered those. What is a common mistake white can make? Yeah, so after we take the pawn, I am actually aware of this mistake that white can fall into, rook e1. The problem is that the rook actually does need to maintain defense over f2. So after rook e1, we can play d5. The bishop should move, probably to b5. And then we can play bishop c5, which is a tempo move on that f2 pawn. And, you know, we're threatening bishop takes f2 check, winning that rook. So win a pawn in exchange. And so probably white would have to block or something. And then if we take this pawn, then we're 2 pawns up. So that's not bad, you know, out of the opening to be 2 pawns up. Okay, so let's see if that is, in fact, the answer. And it is. It's knight takes e4. Oh yeah, and Jan Gustafsson gave 2 lines. He thought this was a normal move, but black could just play d5 and black's better. And he also noted that the rook e1 move fails due to bishop c5. Yeah, and yeah, here they could take here first if they want to. But how do you defend this? It looks pretty hard, right? Like, don't forget that defending with a queen doesn't work unless you want to lose your queen. You know, like that didn't do anything. So it looks very hard to defend. In fact, the only way now is d4, like I was saying, and that's a pawn sacrifice. So we take with a pawn. Okay, maybe f3 is a threat now, but they don't have time for it. We castle. Okay, let's go to the next one. Flashcard 2. This is called Mora Mainline Opening Improvement. Okay. The question is, black just played a6. the best move after b4. What do we play here and why? Okay, so I actually do remember the move, and I doubt you guys would figure this out unless you play the Mora. It's the move a3. So for a while I was playing the move a4, but that's actually wrong. a3 is the way to go. a4 will make this pawn loose, which will matter later. They can't take right now because we would take on e5, but it will matter later. So that's the thing. But a3 has a very specific idea. Yes, we're defending the pawn. Okay, that's one thing. But the other idea is this. Let's say black plays, well, okay, the threat is this. So let me put it this way. If they go, after a3, if they go h6, the idea is to take here, create a weakness on e6, and then attack it with queen a2. And that's a pretty annoying threat. And I mean, let's see. If queen d7, I think now we play knight a4. Oops. Whoa, what the heck? Yeah, knight a4 threatens this. Okay, I went into a different line. Okay, but anyway, that's probably a little too far. The main idea, though, is to create a weakness on e6 and then attack it like crazy. It's funny because I made this flashcard and I've seen this position many times since, and I knew what to do, which is nice. So, so after a3, what is the question? What happens if black plays rook c8 in response? Okay. Now, I do recall that rook c8, you know, that's a move that black wants to play, and it's actually a mistake here. But why is it a mistake? Let's try to figure it out. Actually, I think it's because of what I just said. So a3, rook c8, bishop takes e6, pawn takes e6. I actually think there, you know, maybe we can play queen a2. And if queen d7, I would think knight g5, but actually knight d8 would hold it. So I think instead we have to play that knight a4 thing. Like if queen d7, knight a4. Because we're threatening knight b6, and if they go knight d4, well, that gives up a pawn. So I think, you know, I wouldn't look farther than that. So let's see if that's true. So a3, if rook c8, yep, we take, this is what I thought. Then queen a2, yep. Okay, so if we try knight g5, oh, sorry, if queen d7, knight g5, like, I'm trying to attack this like crazy, but black has this move. And you're not going to believe it, but when black plays this, black is better. I think black will have some challenges to navigate. I think that's true, but Esserman said don't go into this. So instead we go knight a4, threatening that fork I mentioned. Yeah, and now the computer wants queen e8 because, I mean, queen e8 blatantly loses a pawn with check. But this move doesn't work either because, I mean, the idea here is that knight b6 will be met with rook takes c1, and then there's not a fork anymore. Yeah, and in fact, they're threatening back rank mate. Yeah, they definitely are. So I would have to take back. And then the queen can move somewhere. I don't know where. Maybe queen e8 or something. So, but we take this. I think we just take it. Well, actually, my knight's under attack. So that makes me nervous. So what do we do here? Actually, I'm curious because actually I think I can do this because if takes and queen takes a4, I can still take here with check. And that's actually a double attack on that rook. So it says king h8, and then I wonder if we could like take the rook now. Oh, you know what? We cannot. We cannot do that. So instead, queen takes e7. We can take that bishop. Now if black wants to trade, I think we're fine. Well, actually, if they try this, then we mate them. So this not only takes the bishop, it like ties down the rook. So that's pretty cool. I like that move a lot. And let's say that they try to, you know, grab the bishop. Seems reasonable. Okay, well, white's better here. Okay, we can stop. Okay, let's go to the next one. This one's called Using Complications. It says here I played queen e2, which gives up my advantage. Why? What is the best move and why is it best? Okay, so if you want to pause your video, this is a pretty complicated position. So go ahead and do that now, and then give me your answer. So, okay, I actually remember the moves, but let's make sure I understand them. There's some interesting threats in the position. The first one that I see is queen takes e4. That's a free pawn. There's also rook takes f3. But it's not possible because I would play queen takes c8 check. Alright, so all of that is happening. There's also the possibility of this move. Knight takes e3, and what's tricky about that is that if I try to grab that rook, it looks like it's hanging. You know, because if rook takes, queen takes, check. But black doesn't have to do that. They play here, oops. They play here, I take the rook, and then they play queen takes g2 checkmate. So that would be pretty annoying. So I think I have to defend like all this stuff at once. That qualifies as complicated. Okay, so queen e2, I clearly played that move because I wanted to defend my bishop and defend the knight, but it leaves the pawn hanging. So I think that's why the move's incorrect. We need to address all three threats. All right, and well, I think queen b7 is the way to do that. It maintains pressure on the rook, but it defends the pawn. Now the one question though, so that saves the pawn and stops this move because of queen takes rook. But that begs the question, queen b7, can black play this move? Knight takes e3, I probably do have to take with a pawn. That's unfortunate, but you can't get everything you want. My coach says that to me sometimes. Okay, at least I'm not in trouble after that move. So takes. Now if they try to take, probably the game just continues from there. But I definitely remember queen b7 is the best move. So let's ask the computer now. Yep, it does say queen b7. It says after queen e2, queen takes here. Yeah. No need to drop that nice central pawn. So we go here, maintaining defense, defend here. This is the move the computer gives. Yep, we take. And then it says they take here. Wow, check this out. I mean, this is important because now we take, and they could try this, but then I take the bishop. Complicated. So I'm pretty sure I'm threatening rook c8 check. So the computer gives h6. And then it says play rook e1. So I guess that must be the end of it. Because if I go here now, you know, black can just hide. And position's equal. But this defends that pawn. And note that black can't take the free pawn because that unpins this. Okay, I think we navigated the complications. So we are going to go to flashcard number 4 now. And flashcard 4 is called Don't Blunder Major Piece Endings. Oh yeah. This is from an actual tournament game I had. I do remember this. So the questions are, why is h3 a horrible blunder? What should I play instead? Oh, okay. And then a note. So, well, I remember this, so if you want to pause your video, do so now. Yeah, h3 is met by queen d4 check, and that literally wins the game because my rook is pinned. I cannot take the queen. So instead, the queen is a new attacker on my rook, which is then attacked twice and only defended once. So no matter what I do, I'm going to lose a rook. So that's very unfortunate. So I guess the question then is, what should we play instead? It's a good question. Well, I mean, the first move that comes to mind is rook takes a1. Because what else, right? I mean, if king f1, there's queen takes h2. I don't think that's a good idea. King h1 just looks iffy. It's not a move I would want to play. So, but it does stop the check at least. Yeah, and queen g8 check. I think I was looking at that quite a bit during the game. Queen g8 check, I thought king g6, and what do I do there? I'm not sure what I do there, so I decided against that one. So probably I would take the rook. And then queen a1 check, king f2, and, well, there's no more checks for the queen. Oh, actually, I take it back. There is queen d4 check. And I'm scared to go king g3 because of rook g6 check. Huh. Now I see why I wanted to play h3, because if I could put the king on g3 and then hide on h2 might be different. I don't know. It's not that different though. That whole diagonal is weak. Okay, well, I'm saying rook takes. I don't think queen g8 check is the move, but let's find out. So h3. Yep, queen d4 check. That just wins on the spot. It's giving king h2, but I just lose my rook. I mean, don't want to lose my rook. So instead of that, wow, I never would have thought of this move. Okay, rook takes a1 is a move. Queen g8 check. They're all double zeros. Let's see though this continuation, because I am in check now. King f2, and I thought queen d4 check. Yep. And I thought if king g3, I do not like that rook. Oh my gosh, I think I understand, because I could play king h3 after rook g6, and then I'm threatening queen g8 checkmate. Right? Like this and this might be a big mistake. King h3. Yeah, I'm threatening mate. It's really hard to get out of it. There is no way out, really. Just move the rook. Well, if they have to move the rook back, that probably wasn't a good idea then. It actually says I'm winning now, which I don't totally understand, but if here, rook d7, oh. Yeah, I like that. It's giving rook f4. Okay. But this move it gives, the top move the engine gives, is rook to b1. That's cute. It's weird. It's like one of those collinear moves where you move towards a piece but you don't take it. But you know, it's putting the rook in the protection of my queen. Now if black wants to check me, that's just fine. I'll just go king h1. I don't love that, but computer says it's fine. Then it says queen c3. Yeah, this is why I didn't want the king on h1. Because now, you know, they have cheeky stuff like this. That's checkmate. So I can't take the queen. And I can't take the rook either. That's just mean. So I would have to go queen g8 check now. Oh, I can't take that. I don't like rook b1. It just makes this too hard. Like, I feel like I'm living on the edge. Like, the computer is notorious for giving you lines like this where you're living on the edge, but if you play perfect, you're totally fine. Well, it's not easy to play perfect. So, I don't like this one. I think I like my move better. So, yeah. Okay, so we completed the 4 flashcards. So thank you for joining me, and I'll be back with part 2 of flashcard set 8. Okay, bye.